What's in a word, right? What's in a name? What's in a holiday? Don't mind my hair. It's crazy. What's in a tradition? When you think about what tradition is, it's basically music. It's music from the past. It is a hypnotic way of, I don't know, controlling somebody's hormones through frequency. And if it keeps playing the same kind of music over and over again, and you have a loop, then you can control people's frequencies and how they react to things. And so then congenital leads to consumerism. That's why we have such a consumerist society, because people are at deficits. They have congenital heart defects, congenital everything effects. And then you have then all the different holidays. I don't know, man. It's all interrelated. It's such a crazy thing. And, connecting the T cells and the B cells in the lymphatic system was the actual answer to what I was looking for to connect everything together. Because I was studying Freemasonry, I was studying the Catholic religion and the church, I was studying all the different scientific dogmas, I was studying all the activist stances, studying the different spiritual, hormonal, hypnotic ways of captivating people through art, literature, and sciences and all that stuff. And everything is interconnected, but how do you find the least common denominator? And that is the immune system. Everything is founded upon the immune system. That's the actual programming. That's where all the viruses are. And so then you realize that when somebody has a congenital defect, and it could be a small one, it could be a large one, it doesn't even matter. When you have a congenital defect, you will pay top dollar to live up to the Joneses, keep up with the Joneses. So if you have Hollywood, who has all different types of characters, some look like things you would see in mythology. You're like, oh my God, this model or this celebrity or this actress and actor is so gorgeous, and I want to be just like him, her, whatever. And people obviously disfigure themselves. And so that's one end of it. The other end of it is, you're born without hearing, born without sight, born with a congenital heart defect, born with specific defects. And then you will find a way to search for a cure that will only last for so long. Some people born with having sleep issues, or they develop defects over time. Like, wow, are you saying it's a conspiracy? Well, when you're dying and reproducing, here's the thing. I'm all for bioengineering, but when you're dying and reproducing and the body's at a deficit and you're not reacting to the bioengineering effectively, then all the cures compound the defects, which causes then the search for another cure. And so then when you have more congenital defects within the population, and you study it, compartmentalize it, create cures and remedies and surgeries and innovation and machinery and even jobs, wow, that creates consumerism. That's what your whole infrastructure is built upon, is everyone chasing the cure, chasing the things that they think will make them complete because they have a deficit, defect, or congenital type of issue. And so what I'm saying is, I don't think that you should have to go and pay for something that you should already have. I mean, obviously you need to pay for water and cabbage and food, but I don't think you should be paying health insurance companies hundreds and hundreds of dollars for them to charge millions of dollars for procedures that you can do on your own if you have the time and you're not heavily trying to compete with and keep up with the Joneses. So when you're in a very aggressive company, or you're being told that, for you to be somebody, you have to have a nice car and a big house and a cute wife and a cute husband. And so you're willing to sacrifice something to then buy a cure to give you that status right away. Well, that's the thing, is that then you compound all the congenital defects because of all the different cures. And so you can bioengineer population and upgrade them without compounding the problem of defects. But that's what our society has been constructed upon, is everyone chasing the cure and making up for what is missing. They know something's missing. Kids know what something's missing in their lives. Adults know there's something missing. Then adults who don't really want to figure out what's missing or whatever, they get caught up in the distractions and keeping up with each other. So then they really lose sight of I don't even know if they lose sight. I don't think they had the sight to begin with, unless somebody gives them a glimpse of what is possible. But even then, they'd have to find a way to bridge the gap between their current life and what is possible, because anything is possible. Anything is possible when you have physics and chemistry. Anything is possible. And so, yeah, congenital defects leads to consumerism, because then it then commodifies people's wants and needs, and then you can hypnotize them through music. Tradition comes from music. Trad comes from music, traditional music, the jazz music. And what is music? It's like a muse. A muse. What is a muse? It's an inspiration. Music gives inspiration because of the frequencies targeting specific hormonal disturbances or hormonal imbalances. And so that's why certain people gravitate towards a certain music or food or politic, religion, and scientific belief system because of their hormones. And then that music, which could be a jingle on TV. I'll tell you, some of these drug commercials, they have such amazing jingles to them. You're like, wow, that's a really good song. Well, of course it is. It's all frequency. Everything's about frequency. Everything's about putting what is supposed to be perfect, what is supposed to be correct. But here's the thing, if you're not feeling this environment, if you're not feeling anything from the J juice, if you're not feeling anything from a vector or from a immunotherapy, if you're not feeling anything from a virus, then those little antibodies, those B cells and T cells that look like the mark of the beast because they are the T-shaped, they're the ram, they're the Satan, they're the devil. If you're not feeling those things attacking you, because you know how many immunotherapies are circulating, you know how many antibiotics, plant-based therapies, element-based therapies, if you're not feeling anything attacking you, causing mucus, those things are working against you, and they influence your body, mind, and spirit. And they cause hormonal balances in your fatty acids, amino acids, prohormones, and minerals. And then this is why you have so many deficits in the population. And there's a huge market in these deficits. Oh, here, buy this therapy, buy that therapy, here, do this surgery, that surgery. Oh my God. The system has apologized. They've done it through the different Netflix series or the American movie channel, AMC, like The Walking Dead. They have apologized for what monsters they have created in our society, because they have created monsters. They know it. I mean, when you think about the religions in the world, and then all the horror movies, and then the certain religions talk about the dark side of the immune system, which is the heavy negative. And you add in violence and gore and abuse and war, and now you've created demons and devils in people who are run by the PTSD, all the B cell memories, because they're not releasing. And so people are being tortured by the memories in their body. And it's also attacking them. It's causing cancer, because when they're getting attacked and tortured by an entity in your immune system, such as the B cells and T cells, the other side is trying to survive. They're trying to grow fast, because it has to keep up. But that war inside is causing so much conflict that then people don't survive the war within their body. I mean, it's one thing to be like, okay, here, we'll help you transition from one microbiome simulation, like from the uterus when you're being born. We'll help you transition from in utero to now the open air, the world that you live in. And I get that. But parents don't know how to release. The kid has all this mucus, and what do? Well, they don't use those little thingies, or they're trying to get stuff sucked out. Which, okay, I understand that. As a baby, you do what you got to do because the baby has to learn how to cough it out. But they do have their natural mechanisms if they have enough energy. If the baby is sluggish, doesn't have enough salt in its diet, it's gonna be like, not very strong in its defenses. And then when you're not strong in the defenses, and then you reinforce someone's weaknesses by always giving them a therapy in lieu of teaching them biophysically how to defend themselves, they become a very controllable, manipulated adult who will go to the medical system to get a therapy every single time they think that they should be reacting to some energy in some specific way. They were conditioned to react to symptoms with antibiotics, antivirals, anti-inflammatories. And so then you have now a weaponized immune system against your environment, and you're releasing those allergies into the population. And so, yeah, we have the congenital defects lead to consumerism massively. And that's the greed in our society, is when you can destroy someone and then say, hey, I'll sell you a product to build you back up again, And they do. You see all the MLMs out there, they're all into that. You see all the movies, how they're blaming snake venom. They're like, oh yeah, it's the snake venom that caused all the different targeted liver diseases like the cytokine storms. You realize that the snake venom, yeah, it's one theory. But I don't think the New World Order puts snake venom in the water or snake venom in the different therapies. No. It's the fact that you're using all the different plant-based therapies that have specific targets like your liver and your kidney and all this other stuff. And then that is then weaponized against you. So when you breathe in those certain proteins from those elements used as an antibiotic in oncology or whatever, your body goes into offense and tries to attack that. But it's also letting stuff in too, attacking your liver, because they use it as an antibiotic initially. That's what liver detoxes are. They're basically antibiotics against your liver. That's what all these different kidney flushes and all the different, detoxes or antibiotics for certain things. These are actually actively attacking those specific organs. And so while those things are attacking you and you're taking that on a constant basis, causing the body to build a defense against it, and then you're not releasing those T cells and B cells, they do coagulate, they do agglutinate, and they do go back and attack those specific things, causing cancer. And so while they're redirecting the population with these stupid movies about venom in the water or snake venom being used and whatever, everyone's all who's so easily impressionable, at a deficit with congenital defects, are buying all the fucking stories. But hey, I recognize it. But I'm just getting myself primed to explain it in such a way, in few words as possible. Because when you simplify a thought process, people don't get lost in the words and start making assumptions because the words weren't constructed, in a specific way. When you use so many words, which I tend to do because I'm trying to get a thought process, I'm grappling with all the different chemistry in the words. But at some point, you will simplify and reduce everything down to just a few words. And so when you say, yeah, when the vectors, when the J-juice, when the viruses, when you're exposed to all of that and you don't feel anything from any of them, and you're in a dynamic environment such as this, people spewing out their activated immune system, and you don't feel anything, no adverse reaction, those little antibodies, those little monsters are working against you. Because you have to actively release when you're exposed to humans who you don't hang out with on a daily basis. If I stop reacting to my husband who comes home every Friday, then I know something is wrong. If he's here every single day next to me without going out there too much in the public, We're assimilated. But as soon as he goes out there and leaves to go to different microbiomes, picking up stuff, and if I don't feel anything, there's something wrong. So anyways, and so that's it. People have a second chance at life if they understand how to deal with reactions to the immunotherapies, to the jelly juice, to the viruses. If they actually react to them in a different way and stop using antibiotics against it, stop trying to cure that energy with even jelly juice or anything else, you would increase your intelligence tenfold. And then, yeah, you won't want, now you understand why the system wanted you to wear a mask, why the system shut down the economy. Because when people's immune systems were activated, they were releasing everything that was laying dormant within, which then is the reason why we have different pandemics, the AIDS virus and hepatitis and gonorrhea and all these different STDs. All these resurgences is based upon activated immune systems, regardless of therapeutic status. So then you realize you don't want to hang out with a bunch of people because they're releasing all of their therapies and everything they've ever done in their life. And that's what I'm saying. That's what the Denver International Airport murals were. They were letting you know they already got you primed with the therapies, the plant-based, the element-based, the chemotherapy, radiation, cannabis, all that. And they knew that once they brought in from wherever, and I'm not going to speculate, but a very influential virus such as COVID-19, and that activated all the immune systems, and people were coughing out everything in their lymphatic system. That was the domino effect. That was the kickoff to the new simulation. And so now you understand that maybe, your public lifestyle isn't really there, but here's the thing. People don't want to change. They want their old life back. But I want to point it out because it's still an option for you to entertain when you're ready to entertain it, once I get it all organized. When you think about it, I'm not trying to change everyone's minds, but I'm really practicing my delivery, practicing organizing the thought process in my head when I talk about it. So that way, when I write about it, it's not going to be like a struggle. Because the more that you reinforce with repetition, but using different words, different ways of saying things from different perspectives and different angles, and also making the connections from different areas that I've studied that I haven't revisited in a while, but now I am because I'm making the connections, it becomes easier to write it. But if you don't speak it, then how are you going to hear yourself? And maybe there's something missing in your delivery. Maybe there's something that didn't get said because you're lost in all your, like I get lost in this delivery. Sometimes I don't say things where I say it in the wrong way and I'm like, oh shit, correction. Because you get caught up in your own delivery. You get caught up in the information you're trying to say extemporaneously. And so you gotta hear yourself. Okay? And so that's why I do this. This is really a practice for me. And so that way, when I get everything organized and I have that book out, and I'll still go through, I'll go through all the chapters in the book at some point, when the book is out, and I'll go through each one and be like, here, let's cover this, let's cover this. And then you can see where all the traditions of the holidays feed into the hospital system. It's not a coincidence that all these different hospitals are based upon the churches, okay? That shouldn't be a coincidence. I live near Mercy hospitals. I live near church Catholic hospitals. Oh, but they care about people. Oh yeah, they care about you until you fall apart. They care about you until there's nothing left. They care about you when you have something that can be commodified. Nothing's for free, babies. Ain't nothing for free. And if it's pro bono, somebody's getting something out of it. Experimental. Oh, even experimental for free. It's not for free. Oh, honey, you're going to pay for experiments. Believe me. So don't think that the hospital system is benevolent. Don't think all these therapies are benevolent. It's fucking money, honey. It's business. You know what's benevolent? Is the fact that you give yourself a chance to realize this. And you give your kids a chance to realize this, and don't put them in the system that's going to cannibalize them quicker now, because this environment's so dynamic. People are realizing their predispositions faster because of how dynamic this is, and activating their immune system. And then they're like, Jillian, they're messaging me going like, Jillian, thank you so much for the J juice. It cured this and cured that. And I'm like, God, oh my God, oh my God. So people have done the J juice way back from a couple of years ago, using it in conjunction with other cures. So they're in the game. But this virus is so influential, and then mixed with everyone else's DNA from all the stuff that's being spewed out because of an activated immune system. Now it's breaking through their cures. Now they're wondering, what else do you do? They're like, what do you do for this therapy that's being done, that's mandated? And I'm like, if you do that therapy, you get an adverse reaction, consider it a welcome gift that now you can respond to that reaction in the proper way, not the old way of using a cure against it. An antiviral, an anti-this, an anti-that, a detox. That when you get any kind of reaction from anything and you feel it, now you have a second chance at life. You can retrain your body, mind, and spirit to react to these things. And then when you're sensitive enough, because you opened up your first line of defense, after opening up your second line of defense, now you're going to work your brain, because let me tell you, physically, it's going to be exhausting hanging out with all your friends and family. And if you don't feel anything from hanging out your friends and family outside of your house, then those antibodies are working against your kids' immune system. Those antibodies are working against your parents' immune system. And it's going to cause severe amounts of mutations, and probably realizing predispositions or reinforcing the ones they have. And they're going to have a very accelerated lifespan. And you're seeing these kids, they're maturing quicker. I saw a girl that's missing, in my town, and she's 14 years old. She looks like she's 30 or 20. She doesn't look 14. These kids don't even look the age that we did when we were younger, because we didn't have such an accelerated environment. We didn't have what happened in the 1900s, hardly any cancer disease and chronic illness. You know why there's so much cancer disease and chronic illness? Because bioengineering did not get supported with the food supply. Bioengineering, when you felt an evolution from a new virus because of patient zero, they kept using more cures, more therapies, more antibiotics. And so then cancer rates and autoimmune disorder rates and disease rates and chronic illness rates kept shooting up, because every single time a person mutated something that would, cause evolution, adaptation, and innovation, it wasn't supported correctly. And so now these kids are in a very different environment now, and these little antibodies that they're getting therapies for, okay, fine, you're delaying the inevitable, but it's making the kid age faster. But they're not cognitively and intellectually mature enough to handle their mature body. And so guess what? They look like something that they're not to people who are predators out there, who are going to find a way to exploit them. And that's the scariest thing of all, is watching these kids grow up so fast and their mind isn't catching up with their body. And even if so the parents keep them from the internet. They're like, oh, well, you're not going to have a Facebook account or social media or anything until you're like, 16 or 17. We're not going to give you a phone until you're this or that. And so all the antibodies are increasing their aging them pretty fast. And so they're developing sooner. Okay? Their intellect is not catching up with their body. So then it's a misalignment. And these poor kids are going to age so quick. And if they already have deficits, that's going to, be sustained and also accelerate. There's a reason why Denver International Airport had all those murals. There's a reason why the conspiracy community was so huge. That's why I'm saying, evolution is 1 + 1 = 2 + 1 = 3 + 1 = 4. That's evolution from singularity all the way up to infinity. And then you have, creationism, which is 5 = 5. You take a clone. You take somebody and you can clone a cell and make all these different people. That's creationism. They do that in the lab all the time. Creationism happened, but you can say, well, evolution started from a single 10 amino acids or one amino acid attracting another amino acid, attracting another one. So that's evolution. It's 1 + 1. But creationism can be like taking something that's already whole and replicating all of its features, and now you have something that looks exactly like a twin. That's creationism, okay? And then you think of conspiracy as division. Conspiracy is developing. Evolution, creationism. And then anything else you want to go and create. The simulation theory, which actually is what we're dealing with right now. We're going from one simulation civilization to another. And so then you're like, well, shit. Conspiracy, basically, is what the mainstream media is all about. They are the conspiracy. They're conspiring to divide you between evolution and creationism. Isn't it kind of weird how Passover and Easter are falling around the same time? That's not a coincidence. It's all a fucking con. And when you're hip to the con, then you're just like, oh my God. And then you get it. And now you can become a scriptwriter. Because they all wrote the scripts. Constitution, Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. It's all a very well-developed script. With so many actors and actresses. And then you're learning the script. When you adopt a politic, religion, and lifestyle, and belief system, and scientific whatever, and you're regurgitating the same thing. Like I watched everybody yesterday, regurgitating Easter. They're regurgitating passages in the Bible. Hey, bless their heart. And I mean that literally. Bless their heart. Everyone wants to learn their part and regurgitate it. Okay, but know that you're playing a part. Acknowledge it. If you can't acknowledge that you're playing a part and you're just regurgitating somebody else's words with absolutely no thought for yourself when you think about it, are you going to admit that? No, you're not going to admit that. Then you'd know that you're a clone. You'd know you're just regurgitating somebody else's words, that you don't have the thought of your own. It's been given to you. The script has been given to you since birth. And then it's been programmed through all the different immunotherapies and biotech. Can you admit that? No, that would mean that you don't have a soul. Oh, you have a soul. It's just your soul is programmed. You can reprogram it yourself. Oh, no, I can't. They said you're supposed to die someday. And here, this is the good book. You guys should read the good book, the Old Testament, the New Testament, this Testament, that Testament. Okay, so someone gave you a script from day one. Your dad gave you a script. Your mom gave you a script. Can you admit that? No, you can't admit that, because that would mean that you don't have a mind of your own. Well, maybe that's the first step to the change in your life, is admitting you have a problem, that you are denying the fact that you don't have a mind of your own. You've been programmed. Oh, that's insulting. I'm sorry if the truth hurts. And it's the truth, because the truth is a perception, and it's relevant. Because anything backed by science and chemistry, and words are chemistry, I put words together, it's chemistry, it's relevant, it's aligned with physics, it's supported by my environment. So anything I say is completely fucking relevant, even if you don't believe it. It's still relevant, it's still credible, it's still true, and it can be a fact relative to your intentions. If I don't say it, if I can't say it or articulate it or support it through physics and chemistry, then it doesn't exist. If I can't articulate, if I can articulate my thought process, it's exactly true, and it's a fact. Why is it a fact, Julian? Because it's all based upon a simulation. If you expect to die someday and you think that, this person did this, and you think this is true or this is false, then you're working with facts, because you're basing the facts upon things that you want to believe in. Like, I believe in cells. I believe in chemistry. I could feel the physicalness of the mucus. And so I'm still working with facts. How I characterize the mucus and all the feelings, it's a perception. It could be a fact to someone, oh, it's killing you, because people have died from symptoms. But they don't feed their body, so they don't have enough substance, so the symptoms eat them alive. Other people live from symptoms. So it's true, symptoms can keep you alive as long as you feed it, and the symptoms are letting you know to go feed it. It's how you respond to the symptoms of what makes things true or not true or whatever. So then everybody's right. Right? Then I think, actually, when you think about it, everything is a fact based upon your simulation. And so, because even all the words, they're agreed upon, they're facts with different types of parts of speech. You know, a noun, an adjective, a verb, adverb. But then you can take a noun that wasn't an adjective and turn it into an adjective. So then is what's written in the dictionary? Is that all set in stone? No, it's not. Even the dictionary evolves. You can turn a noun into an adjective just like that. Because then there's certain meanings behind it that you can use it as a description versus an actual person, place, or thing. Like you're saying, like, yeah, let's trump this. Oh, here's my trump card. I'm trumping you. But Trump is an actual pronoun. He's a dude. And it can be used as an adjective. It can be used as a verb. Holy shit, now you just evolved the English language. So anything can evolve. So then anything can be a fact. Anything, and that's the thing that, oh my God, that's another revelation today. So then you're realizing that whatever you believe in as far as your bioengineering, biotech, and religion, and politics, and science, it's just one simulation. And when IFL Science or any of those fucking mainstream media say, oh God, the conspiracy people, they have some neurological issue. I'm sorry, but evolution is singularity building on each other. Creationism is just cloning shit, and division is conspiracy, and you're dividing the population, IFL Science. So you actually have negated everything you have said because you're trying to promote a biased point of view. Instead of saying everything is relevant, you want to go and cherry pick based upon your intention. Oh, you want people to go down the cliff. And you're going to substantiate it by denigrating another relevant simulation. That's the world that you live in, you guys, when you take a fucking side. That's the world that you live in. You're going to go down the cliff with everybody else because you can't even articulate another fucking thought process. So, happy holidays. Another reinforcement. Bye.